When Oranges Are Not the Only Fruit was televised on BBC Two in 1990, it was the second episode that caused trouble, because two girls, certainly under 18, were kissing each other and about to have sex. Sex between women has never been illegal in the UK. When Henry VIII's Buggery Act they called a spade a shovel back then was replaced by the 1861 Offences Against the Person Act, sex between women was ignored. That is because women themselves were ignored. Until the Married Women's Property Act of 1870, a woman's identity on marriage was absorbed by her husband. She could own nothing in her own right, including her own body. And there was, and still is, in the tabloid redoubts of the male mind, the notion that only sex with a penis is sex. At the heart and not lower down the body parts of society's torture and torturing over gay sex is upset to the patriarchal order. Old-fashioned thinking assumed that in a gay relationship one was the male and the other the female. So effective was the social norm that many queer couples, as well as those seeking casual sex, believed in this brainwash, adding layers of guilt and confusion to an already fraught situation. When I used to go to clubs in the 1980s, I sometimes went out in ripped jeans and a leather jacket, and sometimes in a skirt with plenty of available bra. One night, an older butch who looked like she'd time-traveled from the well of loneliness came up to me and said, "Are you the bread or the jam? It's taken me years to work out that I am the sandwich." Antagonism towards sexual difference is antagonism towards the challenge, implicit and explicit, against a tidy heterosexism, where straight men arrange the world to suit themselves. Feminism has made common cause with queer identity to address this privilege and assumption at every level. Of course this is fraught because gay men are still men, and the trans community is not without issues here, but our internal questioning is subject to the task of changing the way the world is. Queer politics, just like feminism, is a real force to change the way the world is. Part of the change is to move away from rigid roles. Feminism has campaigned on this for decades, including how we bring up boys and girls to be sexual without sexism. Sexuality really matters. Human beings do not thrive when we are cut off from desire, or from sexual expression that feels real to us. Discovering yourself in the bedroom is not isolated geography, it affects your whole life. In 1988, the Thatcher regime passed into law Clause 28 of the Local Government Act, making it an offence to promote homosexuality in schools. Nobody really knew what this meant. With its malign claims of pretend family relationships, all teachers knew was that they couldn't be positive about any sexual identity other than straight. For me, also 28 at the time, it felt like legalized hatred. Gay sex wasn't a crime, though between 1967, when supposedly it stopped being a crime, and 2003, when the age of consent was equalized, more than 30,000 men were convicted of gross indecency, something that couldn't have happened had their partners been female. The problem with decriminalization in 1967 was that it was progress founded on disgust and pity. Read any of the parliamentary reports or press reporting and there is no word about equality of sexual orientation, or any self-questioning about the normalcy of